In this video, we're going to talk about where all the magic happens, all the good stuff that you're wanting. So we're going to talk about the recovery phase and why that is where you get all of your fat loss. That's where you get all your strength gains. That's where you build all of your muscle. It's while you're recovering. It's not while you're in the gym. It's not while you're eating. It's not while, well, kind of while you're eating, but it's not, you put a stress on the body while you're in the gym. And then during the recovery phase is when the body responds to that challenge, to that stressor that you did put on the body. So the recovery phase is where all of the magic happens. It's where your muscle tissue does not grow while you're in the gym. Your body does not get stronger while you're in the gym. It doesn't lose fat while you're in the gym. Okay? That gives it a stressor, and then the body responds to that stressor during the recovery portion. So the magic is all in the recovery. So please pay attention to this video, watch it all the way to the end, use what's written on the board here that we're gonna go through, use these perspectives on recovery so that you can get the most out of what you're wanting to do. All right, there's a bunch of different perspectives on this. For instance, there's rest during your workout, there's recovery during your workout. How are you supposed to look at that? What about while you're sleeping? What about while you're awake? What supplements should you use? These are all things that play into that recovery kind of circuitry or whatever you want to call it. So let's just jump into it. Between sets, okay. Between sets, reps, between workouts, how are you supposed to be recovering? How much time are you supposed to give to this thing? Well, some of that's dependent on your workout. So if you're doing high intensity interval training, the rest periods are going to be fairly short. If you're doing heavier type, I'm trying to get stronger, lifting, you're going to take a long time between your sets. And even sometimes we even are going to do rest between repetitions. By that I mean like an easy example is clusters. You might do deadlifts and you do one good rep, set it down, wait 10 seconds, do another rep, set it down, wait 10 seconds, and you do that for 4 repetitions. 10 seconds in between each to give our body a different stimulus. We're going to move the bar at a different speed. There's different qualities of our body at play there that we're going to use. So what about between workouts? Well, between workouts, that's completely dependent on the program that you're doing right now too. You know, like when we looked at the Bulgarian method was that the athletes did 3 different workouts a day. So they woke up at, let's say, 6, they ate, they were training by 7:30, they're back in bed by, let's say, 8:30, 9 o'clock, and then they're back at it at noon, and then they're back at it at 6 p.m., and they're sleeping or eating in between each one of those cycles. Now, the thing that we found was that it wasn't their bodies that broke down. Their bodies did just fine. What broke down was their mind. And all that we really needed to do, because this is still a method used today by top elite athletes, is that we needed to add a social component. People kind of went crazy because they had no social life. So they added in, 1 or 2 hours at night of social time to allow them to have that component of their lives, and then everything got better. So it was very, very useful. But the thing is, like, you're doing 3 workouts a day. That sounds very much like overtraining, right? Their bodies did just fine. And it's because they're sleeping like, 15 to 17 hours per day. They're getting a ton of recovery. Your body cannot be overtrained. It can only be under-recovered. You can put your body through some rigorous stuff. You're so damn tough that you can't believe it. But you have to give it just massive amounts of recovery. And a foam roller is not going to, it doesn't matter how much you foam roll in between your workouts to a certain extent. At some point, you just can't foam roll the stress away. So between sets, between rests, between workouts, we have to be taking into consideration the recovery that we need, and you're not going to get away from sleep. Now, with sleep, the interesting thing is that not all hours of sleep are the same. Now, an hour is an hour, just like a mile is a mile. It doesn't matter if the mile is across a smooth, flat, plain surface versus a rigorous, rough terrain mountain. They're still a mile. The distance is still the same. Now, those are 2 different journeys, though. So we have to consider this. Now, what research is really pointing hard at is that not all segments of sleep are the same. So if you were to go to bed at 1 a.m. and wake up at 9 a.m., that's 8 hours, right? But if you were to go to sleep at 10 p.m. and wake up at 6 a.m., that's also 8 hours. But what we found was that the effect of those 8 hours were not the same. It was much better to go to bed at 10, wake up at 6, than it was to go to bed at 1 and wake up at 9, even though they were both 8 hours. So it's not necessarily just about the accumulation of time. It's about when you go to bed. Second, it's about consistency. I think it's fairly similar to water. Like, you wouldn't go all day without drinking one drop of water and then think that you can get it all back the next day by drinking twice as much water as you usually do. It's not how it works, right? Sleep is the same thing. It's not about accumulation. It's not like you can go 3 days without sleep and then sleep for 24 hours, let's say, and think, oh, I got all my hours back. No, you don't get that. Once those are gone, they're gone. So you have to make this thing consistent, and you need to train your body to go to bed at the same time, wake up at the same time, so that you get back into a good rhythm so your body knows what's going on. Okay? There's this interesting thing that I see with people where they take drugs to be able to go to sleep and stay asleep. Now, whatever. The thing is, that's biological warfare. Your body is wanting to this drug is trying to put your body to sleep while your mind is trying to stay awake. Why? Why is your mind trying to stay awake so hard? Your mind should crave sleep. It should want this thing. And I think that it does. There must be a beast, a dragon, something behind the scenes that you're scared of. There's something on the other side of sleep that's scary. And I think that you have to confront that beast. I think that you have to confront the beast, okay, to be able to get to sleep. So I don't think sleep drugs are a good thing. I think that they're a bad thing. They avoid confrontation of that beast, and they're biological warfare. How are you going to get good sleep while your body and your mind are in this fight all night? So what about when you're awake? Well, when you're awake, you can be all stressed out in this bundle of nuts chaos, or you can relax and be very present and be right now. Now, I think that you can be a driver in any one of these scenarios. I think you can go with the flow if that's more your style too. Now, for instance, in my life, my significant other, extremely go with the flow, just very easy, relaxed all the time. I am a driver. I want to go, 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 go. Very type A. So it's very interesting to see the interplay between these two, getting to know her over the years. So I'm not saying that either of those are wrong. You should be the driver. You should be the master of your fate. And you should confront anything that is stopping you from being so. However, being all in chaos constantly doesn't do recovery any favors. That is not recovery. That is actually impeding your recovery process. It's impeding you from getting the gains that you wanted out of the life that you are living. It's impeding the efforts that you put into the gym, into your nutrition, and into all this other stuff, just by being all crazy like that. Kind of like looking at your phone every 2 seconds. What changed? I don't know. But being, like I used to call it bored, is it boredom or is it relaxation? Okay? I don't think that it's boredom. Kind of like saying, well, I didn't do anything. Well, you didn't do anything? Maybe you relaxed. Maybe relaxation is an okay thing. I think it is when you get into the recovery thing. Being bored allows you, and being relaxed allows your mind to create new connections that it wasn't going to before. It allows you to get all of this magic that we're talking about by you got that stressor. Now your body has to respond to that, and it does so while you are relaxing. So laugh, relax, eat, have sex, have fun, work without chaos. You can go to work and not be all frantic and crazy. You can be very present and practice where and how you're going to do things by focusing on the priority that's right now. It does not help to focus on 1,000 different priorities. It helps to focus on one. Okay? The way that I used to get this across to my high school guys is, to my high school athletes, most of them were guys, and if I had girls, I could say the same thing, just change the pronoun. So I'd say, let's say that you're sitting in class and the teacher's writing stuff on the board and it's really boring, and your main crush is up in the front of the class and you're sitting there focusing on her, all right, instead of focusing on what's on the board. Now, if the teacher rolls around to you and says, you are not focused, I would say that she's probably wrong. I think that you're focused. You're just not focused on what she's doing. You're focused on your main crush, okay? So pick the priority. Is your main crush the priority right now, or is what the teacher is writing on the board the priority? Okay? Use this in your own life. When you're at work, what is the priority at this present moment? And put 100% of your focus down on that one thing so that you can really hammer down on that thing. Because you're always focused. You're either focused on the thing that you're calling the distraction, or you're focused on the priority at hand. Focus on the priority at hand. So also, meditation. Meditation is this great thing. I've shortened mine down from 15 minutes to 5 minutes, and I'll tell you why here in a second, but 5 to 15 minutes per day, close your eyes. It doesn't have to be this spiritual experience. You're just connecting with your breath until it becomes more, until you grow and you peel back layers of yourself and you get into different realms of your mind and explore the universe that's within you, which sounds kind of hippity-dippity, but it's amazing what happens. But you just sit in a chair, nice and tall, in through your nose, and out through your nose. Try to really drop your diaphragm into your pelvis. Okay? That's all you're doing. You're just concentrating on your breath. Set a timer for 5 to 15 minutes and do that. And every once in a while, you're going to feel like you're terrible at this thing at the beginning. You're going to want to look at the clock. You're going to want to do all this other stuff. Your mind is going to wander to 1,000 other things. When you catch yourself wandering, just pull it back to your breath. When you catch yourself wanting to look at the clock, just pull it back. What you're doing there, you're pulling it back to the present priority. You're practicing focus. And you're practicing being right here, right now, when you are meditating. That is an extreme discipline. It's extremely hard, and it does not feel like this zenful thing like people try to make it sound. It sounds like somebody's smacking you in the brain every 10 seconds. But do it anyway. Like, you're getting into that parasympathetic recovery mode where you get the magic. Okay? It's absolutely fantastic. You can also try sensory deprivation tanks or float tanks, where you're laying in 8 to 11 inches of Epsom salts, of water that has like 800 pounds of Epsom salts diluted in it, so you're extremely buoyant and you just float. There's no sound because your ears are covered with water, and there's no light. You can't see anything. And you just peel back the layers yourself. You go for, like, let's say 30 to 90 minutes, and it's like this very, very, very deep and forced meditation where you can't reach for your phone, you can't look at the timer, you can't do any of this other stuff, and you're forcing this recovery. So you fit basically a 6-hour nap into about 90 minutes. That's basically what it feels like. Sometimes it feels like 36 hours that you're sitting inside this tank. Sometimes it's awful, sometimes it's a nightmare, sometimes it's absolutely fantastic. It's all these different experiences, and you're getting in touch with these different aspects of you. And it's an amazing thing. I started doing this once a week, and I dropped my meditation down to 5 minutes. It's made a big difference. And I think if you start Googling this thing, you're going to see that there's a lot of benefits to that, but it's engaging with this recovery process so that you get more of the magic, all of this good stuff. So you're getting the strength, you're getting the muscle gain, you're getting the fat loss gain. One of the interesting things from fat loss studies is they took all that they did between the control group and the non-control group. They just added 1 hour. That was the 1 hour of sleep was the only thing that was changed between the control group and the other group. And the 1 hour of sleep group, drastically better results from a fat loss standpoint. They dropped. I think it was double the amount of weight as the other group. Now that's a very interesting thing. 1 hour of sleep extra, let them drop twice the amount of fat. That's weird, right? This thing is a big, big deal. So we're looking at this thing: awake, sleep, between sets, laugh, relax, eat, sensory deprivation, meditation, sex, have fun, work without chaos. What about supplementation? When we get into supplementation, I think I'm going to go through and just, because I think it starts in the morning. You know, you have your fish oil, like we want to look at mood. We want to look at how our mind works. We want to look at different things so that we can put the most into our day, because how we live our day is going to have a certain amount of recovery, and then how we live our day is also going to add to how we're able to sleep at night. So in the morning, this first fish oil, vitamin D, probiotic, these are like the fundamentals. These are like these are the ones that you get. You know, some people, maybe you say vitamin D isn't a necessity for them. Fish oil is going to benefit everybody. And if you're getting enough fermented foods like sauerkraut, kimchi in your diet, you probably don't need the probiotic. However, these are your staples, okay? So that's like your fundamentals. Your next level up, if you wanted to go past that and have more supplements in your life and take advantage of some of the other things. Now with this, I should say, there's an error in taking nothing and there's an error in taking everything under the sun. Some of these, very beneficial to us. Take advantage of them. However, having really expensive urine, it doesn't really help very many people either. So if you're just taking things for the sake of taking them without looking into them and knowing that they're what you should take, then we got to be looking at this a little closer. Okay, CoQ10. CoQ10 is something that already is happening in our bodies, or that we already have in our body. I spoke wrong. But having 15 to 30 milligrams per day can be a benefit for a lot of different reasons. Creatine helps the mind. from a lot of different standpoints. I don't need to get into everything about every single one of these. I'll leave that for another video. But we got CoQ10, creatine, greens. Greens drinks are not green tea. It's freeze-dried fruits and vegetables that have been ground into a powder, so you can add them to water, stir it up, and drink it. It's about nutrient delivery into your body. Remember, when your body is inflamed, it's your body trying to push as many resources as it can to that injured tissue. It is your body's responsibility to get that blood there. It's your responsibility to give your body the nutrients in the form of, like the nutrients are the resources. It's your responsibility to give your body the nutrients it needs to be able to send those nutrients where they need to go. Now, on the third level, I think that you could get into a multivitamin. You know, multivitamin is kind of like renter's insurance. It's a good idea. It's just a really good idea. Almost everybody is deficient in something. A multivitamin can be a good thing to try to mitigate that. Now, nootropics are things that are supplements that help your mind. Okay, so what is it called? Not alpha. Onnit makes one. I think First Form makes one. I've tried out a few of them. I can't say that like all of them, like there's just like this amazing thing that goes on and you're like this brainiac or anything, but they can help. They can be a benefit. So these are things that you can take in the AM: nootropics, multivitamin, CoQ10, creatine, greens, fish oil, vitamin D, probiotic. I think that that's like, if you did all of those, you're doing a lot of supplements in the morning. I think that that's a little unnecessary. At noon, okay, what do you need to have done by noon? Well, we need to be hydrated on some level. That doesn't mean that everybody needs to be drinking a gallon of water a day, though. Okay? By noon, you need to get 1/4 of your body weight in ounces of water. Okay, in ounces of water. So I weigh 240 pounds. So what is that? That's 60 ounces of water. I need to have basically 2 liters down by noon. 2 liters of water down by noon to be able to, and then I'll probably just more likely stay drinking throughout the day to finish that off. But what you don't want to do is drown yourself with half your body weight in ounces of water at 6 p.m. and be going to, waking up in the middle of the night 6 times to go to the bathroom. That's a little silly. So get it down by noon. Get 1/4 of your body weight in ounces of water before noon, and then drink throughout the rest of the day to thirst. Okay, in the PM, zinc and magnesium are 2 supplements that most of us can really benefit from. Zinc and magnesium are very soothing. For some reason, our body, when we ingest these, our body just has this very soothing response. Don't ask me why, but when people go into hospitals with panic attacks, they will put them on a magnesium drip. They'll just slowly but surely IV them and slowly but surely add magnesium to their blood, and apparently it just works like magic. All right, so these can be 2 things that don't put you to sleep like a sleeping pill will, but it does help soothe and relax you so you can hit a deeper level of sleep, which is a benefit. And if you're really wanting to go nuts, you can try 5-HTP. It's a precursor to serotonin. Does the same thing. Very soothing. Doesn't put you to sleep, but it helps you relax so that you can get to sleep and stay asleep and go to deeper levels of sleep. So that's it for supplementation. Remember, you have between sets, you have sleep, and you have the time while you're awake. You have to find a way to manage your stress. Otherwise, your stress is going to manage you. You have to find a way to manage your fears, or your fears are going to manage you. And you do that through sensory deprivation tanks, meditations, being consciously aware of when you're just acting in chaos, and being focused on the present priority right now. Pick one and do that thing to the absolute best of your ability. Okay, try to get a good amount of sleep and make sure that it's consistent. Try to go to bed earlier. Don't try to just accumulate 15 hours of sleep one day and then 0 the next. Get consistent with this thing, and then between your sets, be diligent about this stuff. If you're going for strength, you don't get to take 30 seconds or 45 seconds between your sets. You gotta get more in there. If you're going for fat loss, you might change that a little bit. It changes the workout right here. So, recovery, you cannot be overtrained. You can only be under-recovered. And recovery is something that you very much want. Okay? When we get into longevity, I think that's what's going to happen in the future, is we're going to very much figure out that longevity is based on the relaxation or the recovery portion, and how much we did get, how much we lived in this, like, I'm freaked out all the time, versus how much we lived in this state where we're very much right here, right now, able to do the thing that is present on our plate. And that's very, very hard to do, but I encourage you to do the absolute best that you possibly can to get there. So recovery is the magic. You cannot be overtrained. You can only be under-recovered. And all of the good stuff that you want is found in this recovery process. So get this thing down. Get your sleep. Get very, very diligent on how you're living your life. But anyway, this is my talk on recovery. Use this stuff. Pick one, use it for 2 weeks, pick another one, use that for 2 weeks, pick another one, use that for 2 weeks. You're not trading each one of those in, you're adding to until you get all of the things that are on this board down. But anyway, get after this thing because this is where all the good stuff that you want